All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a really powerful shift in how we can help our kids handle those big, overwhelming feelings. The idea is to move them away from, well, wrestling with their emotions, and instead teach them how to gracefully dance with them. I mean, come on, what parent hasn't been here? Your kid is spiraling about a test, or they're scared about a new school, and our gut instinct is to just shut it down. We say things like, think positive, or, oh, don't worry about it. It feels like we're helping, but what if I told you that approach can actually make things worse? Yeah, you're seeing that right. Research actually shows that when kids actively fight against their emotions, trying to push them away, those feelings don't just disappear. They can actually come back up to 3 times stronger. I mean, that's a pretty staggering number, and it kind of shows we might have this whole thing backwards. So think about it. Every time we tell our kids to ignore a tough feeling, we're sending this quiet, unintentional message that feelings like anxiety or sadness or even anger are threats to be avoided. And this just tells their brain, whoa, this feeling is real danger. Pay more attention to it. And this brings us to our first big idea, what we call the emotional quicksand trap. It's the perfect way to understand why that common sense advice to just stop worrying can really backfire and get our kids even more stuck. So, what just popped into your head? A pink elephant, right? It's impossible not to. Our brains are just wired in this funny way. The moment you try not to think about something, that's the only thing you can think about. And this little paradox, it's at the very heart of your child's struggle. We call this the quicksand effect. Just imagine your child is stuck in quicksand. What's their first instinct? To struggle, to fight, to try and get out? But with difficult thoughts, that struggle just pulls them in deeper. The key insight here is that the struggle is the real problem, not the feeling itself. It's a totally exhausting, losing battle. Okay, so if fighting doesn't work, what's the alternative? Well, we have to change our child's whole relationship with their thoughts. We're going to teach them to be a curious observer of their own mind, instead of a fighter inside of it. Just look at the tiny but powerful change in language here. Instead of your kid thinking, I can't handle this, which feels like a 100% absolute truth, they learn to say, I'm having the thought that I can't handle this. Can you feel the difference? It creates this little bit of space. It turns the thought from a big, scary fact into what it really is, just a passing event in their mind. So here are a few really practical ways you can teach this. You can tell your child to imagine their thoughts are just clouds floating by in the sky, or maybe they're like cars on a freight train. You can just stand there and watch them go by. You don't have to jump on board. And for those really sticky, recurring feelings like anxiety, they can even learn to just greet it. Oh, hello, old friend. It sounds silly, but it takes all the power away from the feeling. Now let's take that cloud metaphor and go one level deeper. This next idea helps a child tap into this stable, unchanging part of themselves that's always there, no matter what kind of emotional weather is passing through. This is the big one. You can explain it to your child just like this. Your mind is like the weather. It's always changing, right? Some days it's sunny, some days it's stormy. But you're the sky. You're the big, wide open space that holds all of that weather. The storm can't hurt the sky. The clouds can't hurt the sky. They just pass through. And here's a super simple exercise you can try. Just have them close their eyes for a minute and just notice. Notice any thoughts, any feelings, any little itches or sounds. Then you gently ask them the key question. Who or what is doing the noticing? Because that noticer, that quiet, observing part of them, is the sky. Helping your child connect with this part of themselves gives them this incredible anchor, this safe harbor they can always come back to, even when things feel totally stormy. It's always there, calm and steady, just behind the clouds. So, we've learned how to make space for the tough stuff. But what now? This whole thing isn't just about managing bad feelings, it's about building a rich, meaningful life. So this section is all about helping your child find their own inner compass, their core values. Now, it is so important to know the difference between goals and values. Goals are like destinations. You can get there. You get an A on the test, you win the soccer game, you can check it off the list. But values are directions. They're like choosing to head north. It's an ongoing way of living. You can't ever finish being kind or complete being brave. It's how you travel. So how do you actually help your child figure this stuff out? Well, you ask really good questions. Things like, when do you feel most like you? What are you doing when time just seems to fly by? And for older kids, this is a great one. Imagine it's your 90th birthday party. What do you want people to say about you? The answers to those questions, they point straight to their values. And this is why values are so incredibly important. When your child is up against a tough decision or a really painful moment, their values are like a flashlight. They don't make the dark go away, but they light up the path forward. They show them how to take a step in the direction of the person they want to be. All right, this is where we bring it all home. Because understanding all this is great, but real change, that only comes from action. This last part is all about turning these ideas into something real. I love this quote. Your child can learn all these concepts, but actually getting good at this stuff, well, that's a skill you build by doing. Real confidence doesn't come from waiting around until you feel brave. It comes from stepping onto the dance floor of life, even if your knees are knocking a little. So here it is, a super simple 4-step plan. Number 1, help your child pick one tiny little action that lines up with a value. If they value friendship, maybe it's just saying hi to someone new. 2, they're gonna notice all the doubts and fears that pop up. That's totally normal. 3, they use that sky skill to just make room for those feelings. Let them be there. And 4, the most important part, move forward and do the thing anyway. And that right there is the secret to building real, lasting confidence. It's not something you just wait to feel. It's the result of taking these small, value-driven actions, especially when it's uncomfortable. Every single time your child does this, they are literally building a stronger, more flexible mind. So I'll just leave you with this question. This isn't about becoming a perfect emotional dancer overnight. It's just about starting. It's about progress, not perfection. So just think about it. What's one tiny, simple dance step toward what really matters that you and your child can take today?